Oops, sorry, blanked out there. Hey, gang. Well, we're here with the next to last episode of All at the House of Usher. Well, with Tamerlane's death, Roderick throws a fit to Pym because they had bodyguards. Nobody heard anything. They didn't come to investigate when he heard all that breaking glass. Pym doesn't understand how any of this happened. Madeline is convinced it has to do with what happened back in 1980. Roderick refuses to believe that. There has to be a logical, rational explanation. They are down to one thing. They've got about half the board on their side. The swing vote is their son Fredrick. Madeline also goes to Pym and talks about, because of Roderick's illness, it might be better if the board voted him out and voted her in as CEO, and she could take the company from pharmaceuticals to a tech company with her algorithm she's been perfecting. And a few crocodile tears about how this is the hardest thing she's ever had to do. Meanwhile, Freddie gets called into his father's office. He goes, and he's told all this great news, and the guy is coked out of his mind. He's constantly, as you do when you're snorting a lot of illegal drugs. Or so I've seen on TV movies back in the 80s. Especially the one with Dennis Weaver. Anyway, learning he's the swing vote, and Roderick is counting on him, after first berating him for not knocking down the building that had the rave. So, a jubilant Fredrick goes home, gives his wife more drugs, has pictures of her from her, before the accident spread all around her so she can see what she used to look like. And's a bastard. Anyway, he talks about something his father said, is that for those that don't want to be cruel must do a brutal act to at least show dominance. And his brutal act, now, she can still feel things, and she's aware of things, but she can't move because of the paralytic he keeps giving her. And he takes a pair of pliers and, luckily off camera, pulls her teeth out. So he then calls the Jersey brothers to knock that building down now. He says, I know we talked about it in a couple of weeks, but it's got to be now. Don't care if you don't have permits, just get a wrecking ball out there. You don't have to worry about blasts. And then he's going to go meet him there. On his way out, he has an argument with Lenore, who wants to move her mother to a specialist, and he snaps at her and basically threatens her. And then he leaves. She goes to her mother's room and finds it locked. Breaking in, she finds what her father's done. And she calls the police. Basically, she calls 911. Police and ambulance and all that. Going to the flashback for this episode, and to some of the issues Daupin and Roderick have. Roderick practices with Daupin for the deposition. Then on the day of the deposition, Roderick stabs Daupin in the back, claiming the only reason he agreed to do this was because Daupin was hounding them. He wouldn't let them alone. Everything is fine at the company. He signed these forms. And so he's arrested for perjury. But this was the plan Madeline and he had. They know, because he did this. Fortunato will bail him out. There is no case. It's he said, she said. And they've got a whole company worth of lawyers that I gotta quit doing that. They got a whole company full of lawyers that'll paint Daupin as this out of control prosecutor or investigator at this time. So when Annabelle learns of all this, that's the end of their marriage, really. And that's what set Roderick off on his libidinous escapades and all the other children he fathered. In the present, Madeline goes to the old house, and there she meets Verna. And she talks to Verna, wants to renegotiate their deal. Verna says, well, there is no renegotiation. Oh, deals are always renegotiated. And Verna kind of provokes her, and Madeline snaps her neck. Then Verna shows up behind her. Says, oh, I'm sorry about that. I probably shouldn't have said that. And she says she will give Madeline clarity. And then recites a Poe poem about City on the Sea. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm not even going to bother looking it up. It's a nice poem. Cut to Roderick. Now, Juno did survive getting clunked in the head. She's got a scar, but she's recovered. She wants to go off the Fortunato drug. The psychiatrist she goes to, or her doctor, says you can do it, but you have to do it very slowly. She goes to tell Roderick this. He is upset. You know, she's the whole face of how non-addictive and great the drug is. But if she wants to do it, she has to do it slowly over a 3-year period in which she will be in pain. He describes all these basically withdrawal symptoms. And it is terrible. There's pain and weakness, loss of appetite, diarrhea, throwing up. You know, it's like going off heroin. And she realizes Roderick doesn't love her. He explains, because she calls him at one point a monster. He says, no, I'm Dr. Frankenstein. You're the monster. You're my creation. He married her because he was fascinated about how her body acclimates to the drug. And she's devastated. She thought he loved her because she'd gone through so much hardship and had an inner strength to help her get through it. And now realizes she was just an experiment all along. And tells him, I can do 3 years. It's better than a lifetime with you. And leaves. So he's lost another wife. Back to Fredrick. He arrives at the site. Tells them, give him 5 minutes inside. Then they can blow it down. He goes in and urinates on the spot his brother died. And his family hates each other. First, he takes another hit of cocaine. And while he's emptying himself, he collapses, paralyzed. Verna comes in, dressed as a construction worker, and explains she was going to let him die of a heart attack in his car on the way over. That was her original plan. And his cocaine addiction would have verified the cause. But after what he did to Morella, she couldn't let him off that easy. And she takes his walkie-talkie and, imitating his voice, perfectly of course, she okays the demolition and then lays there with him, talking to him as the wrecking ball smashes through things. And wouldn't you know it, a huge piece of very sharp, I'm not sure if it's mortar, brick, whatever, it's kind of hard to say, let's say concrete, gets lodged in a couple of hoses, wires, whatever, and starts swinging from a beam. And it gets lower and lower. And although he can't move, Fredrick is aware. And he feels the thing cutting him in half. They don't show it, of course. I like the restraint. Madeline finds Roderick in the basement again, drinking and feeling sorry for himself. She tells him about Freddie and then explains he's going to have to sacrifice for the company and for her and Pim and everyone, and talks him into taking a whole bottle of their drug along with a bottle of scotch. And when he's done that and he's collapsed, she leaves. And who should show up? Verna, who touches him, just kind of, and he throws up all those pills he swallowed. And when he rolls over, looks up at her, she says, "I'm sorry, but I'm not done with you yet. It's not going to be that easy." So, really ready for the last episode. She's ecstatic about it. Yeah, really good episode. Henry Thomas, who plays Fredrick, ran a whole gamut of things throughout this series. Being kind of cowardly and kind of shoved aside, ignored, laughed at, he felt. And then getting high on cocaine, starts to feel like he's invincible. And then starts to show his ugly side, especially to his daughter, who he really seemed to care about a lot. And then, of course, the realization he's going to die, and the fear, and the... It's come a long way from E.T., I tell you. The only thing I don't like about his character, really, the thing that just immediately put me off him, he's got a man bun. If you're going to grow your hair long, put it in a ponytail. Or just wear it long. I hate the man bun. I know it was a style for a while, but I just never liked the look. Just a personal thing. I mean, you want to wear it? Fine. But I mean, it's like people that would button their top button but not have a tie. I just don't get it. That's personal beef. Looking forward to the next, or I should say the last episode. We're going to learn all the things that happened. Ooh, can't wait. And, oh man, Bruce Greenwood, when he crushed Juno's heart. Oh, God, he was so evil in that. What sympathy I think you built up for him over the course of the series because of all the things that are going on and his obvious regret were destroyed for me in that moment. Well, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for the final episode and the last of the comeuppances.